All right, all right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when and where you're watching this Facebook Live. This is the voice and the face of Dr. Olabintan. Happy New Month. It's the month of June. May. We're here. We've made it all the way through. Um, and for those of you who may not know me, I am Dr. Olabintan. I am the CEO and co-founder of Livingspring Family Medical Center here in the awesome city of Mansfield, Texas. And today I'll be doing the monthly Tete-a-tete with Dr. O. And today's topic actually is the topic how to make it easier for you to make healthy or better choices when it comes to spirit, soul, and body. Don't you know? I'm, I I realized this hack in listening to some of my mentors and also in conversations with patients that there are ways that you can actually make it easier for you to lean towards better choices. So first of all, some of you may be wondering why did you decide to have this topic? Well, I had a conversation with a patient this week, and we talked about some of the choices or the things she had made, decisions she had made since the last time I saw her. And so I could see this difference in her, could see a difference in her demeanor, in her outlook, in her energy level. And I asked her, so what did you do differently since the last time we spoke? And she talked about some of the things she had actually implemented that actually worked. And we're going to share some of that today. So some of you may be wondering, when you look at certain people, that it may be easier for them to make better choices than others. But here's the truth. There are tricks up their sleeves. I'm going to talk about them. So tip number one on how to make it easier for you to make better choices when it comes to spirit, soul, and body. Number one, visual cues. Visual cues. What are visual cues? They're things that you put in front of you that you can see on your path to work, to life, to going out the door, to being in your kitchen, things that remind you of what's important to you, that remind you of what your goals are. I give an example. Let's say, like when it comes to your body, I talk about this a lot eating healthy, lots of fresh fruits and vegetables. Well, you can think about them, but if you see them, you're more likely to eat them, right? And so, what's a good visual cue? You can actually have a fruit basket in your kitchen where you put bananas, tangerines, apples, pear, right? You see them, you eat them. In conversation, you're not even thinking about it. You actually see them, the colors appeal to you. You're talking to somebody, and you eat them. Ding, ding, ding. You didn't have to think much about it. Because I was, a patient was asking me, man, I'm so happy for you. You seem like you're self motivated, and I'm like, initially I was tempted to say, yeah, I'm self. Then I realized, no, those cues help me. All right. So, the first one we talked about visual cues when it comes to your body, food and basket. Visual cues when it comes to also your body exercise, having your weights or your exercise equipment right at the foot of your bed. So when you get up, you see it. So that's one less thing to do. That's another visual cue. All right. Now, when it comes to your spirit, what's a visual cue? I tend to encourage this having a vision board. You see it. You see what you dream of becoming. You see where you're headed. And you know that it's important for you to have a good spiritual life to do that. So pray, you know. I also have other visual cues are on my phone that tell me, it's time to get up, it's time to meditate. All right. Put these things in your life. They help remind you. It's almost like a pathway. If you say this, that's where you're going. You don't see the road. You know where you're going, but how to get there is a little not defined. When you have a pathway carved out, so eat this food, avoid this, refuse anger, don't stay on social media too long. It's directing you, but if you can go all the way this way, or you can have it a little bit more streamlined. So I want to encourage you. These things seem very simple, but they work, and this is the secret that the self motivators have. Okay, now the next one are your audio cues. All right. Now, these ones can be audio and visual combined. What are audio cues? Your alarm clock. Time to get up. Try not to snooze. Time to get up. The more you do not snooze and you get up and actually do the things you're supposed to do, the more your body is actually and your brain is actually going to work together to getting you closer to your goals. What are other audio cues? Instagram. I don't know if yours dings at all, or you have the app on your phone that tells you, for your body, it's time to get up. All right, time to get up, time to move. All right. What are other things? Um, Podcasts. What do you listen when you're taking a shower? What do you listen to when you are driving? Those are 5 to 30 minutes, however long your drive is, things that you can use to motivate you. I can almost guarantee you people don't stay self motivated. No. Who are those that motivate you? Listen to them subconsciously, consciously, while you're doing the dishes. Listen to people who tell you what's possible, who tell you you're capable, who remind you how awesome and how of inestimable value you are in God's eyes. You got to listen to them. All right? People don't stay self-motivated. Your that not only nourishes your soul, your audio cues, also nourishes your spirit. Do you listen to the word of God? Do you listen to meditation? Do you listen to people encouraging you your faith work? Those are audio cues. I like another one that Instagram has to social media where it tells you, like my Instagram limit is 20 minutes every day. So when I spend 20 minutes scrolling and doing the things, it's like, all right, whoop, you spend 20 minutes. I'm like, okay, I've enjoyed this time scrolling. Let me go do something else. And these things are not to make your life miserable. These are to help guide you and make it easier to default to good choices. So that's two. We talked about visual cues. We talked about audio cues. Number three, community cues. You got to curate your community. I'm not saying be mean to people. I'm not saying cut people out. That's not what I'm saying. Sometimes you just need to put a little distance between certain people and yourself just to help you stay closer to your goals and stay closer to your value systems. But you also have to create a community for yourself. How? Yeah, there are social media groups, maybe a church community, maybe a local moms group, a community that encourages you, that normalizes some of the struggles you're going through, so you know that it's possible to thrive in spite of it. That's the whole goal. It's not just let me just jump into a community. What is a challenge you're having right now? For some it could be struggling with some autoimmune disease. For some people it's grieving, like moving forward with life, even with the loss of someone very special. So being in communities where people understand what you're going through and are thriving and are encouraging you in your journey forward. Stay in those groups. All right, community. Now I have a question here. Is there a time where my prayer sessions will be self-guided? I can pray on my own for maybe 30 minutes, but then have to find something that will guide me for longer. That's okay. Your community could be a prayer community where you stay with someone who will pray you and keep you accountability. That's okay. That's positive peer pressure. And that works. If you need to have someone with you, maybe stretch you a little bit, stay in those groups. Stay in those groups. All right. I stay in a group in the morning, 1 hour, because sometimes on my own I get a little, distracted. But I stay in those groups because they are stretching me, and I feel better, spirit, soul, and body for it. So stay in those groups, and remember, you're not always going to be comfortable in those groups, and that's okay because you're growing. That means you're growing. The next one are what I call restrictive cues, and these are cues that tell you that's a no-no. That's a no-no. I talked about Instagram already, where there's a restricted, like 20 minutes. Okay, that's enough. All right. Or people who can hold you accountable. You have mentors. You have people who have been where you are and who can encourage you, who can give you tips so you don't have to make the same mistakes they made. You don't have to live out every experience. You can learn from others. It's shortcuts. Restrictive cues. Who are people who can put you in check? Are there things on your phone? Do not disturb at a certain time. So you're not getting all the alerts. All the alerts that you don't need to, it's too much information. It was actually a Facebook Live I did a few weeks ago. And the fact is that people get information as much as 77 newspapers a day. Right? That's a lot. Information overload. And so when you have restricted cues where your phone is on do not disturb, you don't get alerts from all groups all the time, you're better able to focus on the things that add to you. You're better able to focus on things that are of value to you. I know I've said a lot. It's supposed to be a tete-a-tete. But I believe these will help you. These have been helping me. And I realize that it would be unfair for me to say it's natural for me to stay motivated. I realize that these cues, either by my upbringing or subconsciously, and also through mentoring, these cues have been put in place to help me default easier to making good decisions. I hope this has been helpful. I'm excited for you this new month, and I pray this is your best month yet. Thank you for watching, and please share this with those who could find this useful. All right. Thank you all for watching, and have a good one. Oh, by the way, stay tuned and follow me so that way you know when next I go live. I'll see you next month, July 1st, for Tete-a-tete with Dr. O. Thank you and have a good one.